Okay, now that we're on a topic of Europe, is there the possibility there will actually be some sort of shooting war? Now, ever since this COVID thing started, um, I believe in the middle of this, they tried to spark some wars. Okay, they did it in the Ukraine, Israel. They had something in the Middle East, and then there was constant rumors that we are going to go to war with China, or China is expanding its presence in the Pacific and screwing with the Philippines and Taiwan, all of this. Okay, so we've had several scares come up in the past, but I've noticed that recently here, with all this going down, the Europeans are having their COVID shutdown, but then let's look at this immigration crisis. I mean, we've had it here with all these people just showing up, okay, Haitians showing up down there, crossing the border from Mexico into Texas. We've been inundated with illegal immigrants. Now, there's a problem on the border of Poland. Poland's not going to let these illegal immigrants in. It's going to damage their country in many ways. So, I don't know the specifics, but that's probably why. And now, the Belarusians supposedly are flying these people there to inject them into the European Union. They're creating a crisis. So now this has gotten to where it's been in the news that Poland is talking about maybe military action here if this keeps going on any further. They're being forced. Their denial to accept immigrants or refugees into their country has sparked some controversy in the European Union itself, and they were talking about throwing them out of the European Union. Okay. So there's friction there. Also, the Russians are involved in several different matters here, and they're still looking. There is still a war going on in Ukraine, an active war. The Russians are looking to finish this and settle it, and there may be military action there. So you got Poland, you got the Ukraine, and people have, if you check news feeds and that, this is heating up. But again, they all say, is it going to actually turn into a war? I don't think that actually benefits anybody with invasion, shooting, tanks, bombing, and that. But again, what it's doing is it's forcing its hand to weaken the political posturing of these different countries. In other words, they come to an agreement which weakens their sovereignty, weakens their control. So you have this going on. Now, I didn't even notice this, but there have been several things. Bosnia-Herzegovina. The situation in this country is deteriorating. And I remember when Yugoslavia broke up, and I remember the war that was on down there. And actually, many of the people who were refugees ended up in my hometown in Utica. There's a very large community of Bosnians there. And it's from these people from this region. I'm friends with them. I go to their establishments, eat in their restaurants. And I got to know them because basically they're Slavic people, and because of the cultural similarity, I understand them and I get along with them. Okay? And actually, when I go home, they're the only people left that remember me and remember when my wife worked in the school and that are there. And businesses open, or restaurants where I walk in and they know who the hell I am and that are owned by these people who basically are foreign refugees. So I kind of understand the plight, and a lot of them told me the political situation there is bad, and they can't go back. There's a lot of people tell me, especially the older people, they're trapped there. If they go back to that country, they're dead. Okay? So now what's happening there is I didn't realize that Bosnia-Herzegovina has like the three factions: Croats, Bosnians, Serbs. Okay, and they got it, that little country divided, and because there is a Croatia, there is a Serbia, all right, and then they have some kind of governing body. I forget what they're called from Europe. That when they can't agree, this governing body has the authority to pass laws and all this other stuff. Well, now the country's falling apart. It's 20 years it's been governed like this, and now the Serbian side's going to break away and have its own military inside the country. And then if that happens, they say the Croatian minority is going to try to take this one section and go with Croatia, and that leaves the Bosnians, who are Muslims, trapped in the middle with nothing and all this other stuff. But it's getting to the point where they may have to bring NATO in to straighten stuff out. And this, okay, is another hot spot. So you got down there in the former Yugoslavia, you got problem in Poland, you got problems in the Ukraine. So basically you got another wide-ass open front. The Europe, Eastern Europe's going to ignite into a war, which isn't good. And then the Bosnians are trying to draw Turkey into helping them with this, which Turkey is a NATO country also. So a lot of stress, a lot of strife. Then, so you got war ready to break out here. You got COVID lockdown, where everyone's rioting throughout all of Europe and complaining, and you've got them all locked down and can't go. The citizens are all angry. So just about all of Europe is spiraling out of control. But see, when the guys analyze this, is there going to be like a war? A lot of this, they say it could be, but then again, even if it isn't, and you bring NATO or something in, what's happening is it's showing a weakness, and it's showing that the allies and other people who influence this with the current situation in the world aren't stepping in to stabilize this like they have in the past. So now you're having all this instability throughout a large region, okay, during this COVID thing. So this is, a war. And, even though they're not going to, but like I said, the bombing and this and that, it looks like, and they talk that this may happen, but see, then someone's going to step in and do something to stop it, but then create more military borders, boundaries, involve NATO, involve foreign countries, where all these people in their own countries are dealing with the crisis of COVID-19 and all the political problems and economic problems that go with it. Okay, so the whole world on a global level is becoming destabilized. You had South Africa, they were rioting, that country out of control. God only knows what the rest of the continent's like. I really haven't heard nothing out about South America. And I haven't checked into what's going on with the Asian countries in their situation there. But there's always tension between China, Russia, the U.S., the Philippines. That's ongoing, that nonsense. How true it is or what or whatever, because we are in partners with the Chinese with everything. Okay, so going to war with them, I don't know if it's all BS or what, but things globally are highly unstable at this time. Okay, so it's something to keep an eye on. How it'll affect us, I don't know, but I know it's not good for anybody if fighting breaks out all through Eastern Europe. These lockdowns are not going to be good for anyone also, because Europe, like I said, we're in a global world. When things get screwed up over there, yes, it does affect us in some ways, okay? And you know, just really sad the way it's all unstable. I don't know where this is all. This has to stop one way or the other. This COVID stuff has got to go. Okay, and hopefully, the one thing I see is it's kind of dying down in our country. So that's one little glimmer of hope. Is right at the moment they're not going to throw us into a lockdown for the holidays. So maybe, you know, maybe things will get better. We'll have to just wait and see.